Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast. If you don't know me, I am your gracious host, Josh Kirby. Thank you for tuning in to another edition. As always, on this episode, week 18 is done. That only means one thing. It is time for the NFL playoffs. We will do a quick recap of week 18. In the bulk of our show, we will be discussing the NFL playoffs and our NFL playoff preview. And then to wrap up the show, we will give out some awards to some players and coaches from this regular season. But first, before we begin, we would love to thank our sponsors of the Kirby on Sports podcast, PM Plus Reserves, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett Pest and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, and Guild Mortgage, Mark Lynch. All right, it's time for another edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast. It comes your way right now. I'm not going to waste any more time, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it started. We're going to bring in not just a guy, not just a man, but a legend and a weapon. Dan Dembski, what's up, my friend?
Ooh, that intro was special. Very unique.
Dude, no time long. See, I miss you up there. I can't get up to Northern Virginia as often as I should, and I think about you a lot, and I miss you, bro. How is everything?
I miss you too, buddy. Yeah, it's things are going well, man. Staying busy. Been enjoying the NFL season. So excited for the postseason, man. This is going to be a fun podcast for sure.
It's going to be a fun podcast once we bring in the Swiss Army knife, and I'm
Gotta
sure
bring him in.
And I'm sure we can all agree once we bring him in that this has been a tremendous football season yet again, and it's about to pay off with the Super Bowl. I'm not sure why I did that, but the Swiss Army knife, Carlos Martinez, in the building. Just in general, just to start things off, just from week 1 to week 18, I can't believe it's flown by just like that.
Thank God, because, the NFL season's too long.
You think so?
It's too long. It's too long.
Yeah.
It's too long.
That extra game does add a certain degree of that feeling, I think, as well. Like it's just too many games.
Week 18 wasn't as fun as last year's week 18 because week 18 ended with remember last year it was the Chargers, the Raiders,
right?
They both tie. Like last year's week 18 was actually fun. This year's
playoff implications.
There were some playoff implications on this week 18, but it just wasn't anything like last year's.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm just glad the Lions dethroned the Packers. That was just very cool to watch because
the Packers have been dethroned. This isn't anything new.
I'm just talking dethroned out of the playoffs because all the Packers had to do was win in their end.
That is the wrong term. It's not that the Lions kept the Packers out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you mean dethroned them out of the playoffs? What does that mean?
They were throned, apparently.
Well,
apparently they were the kings of the playoffs.
They played spoilers.
Playoffs.
There you go.
Playoffs.
That was a good Jim Mora impression. I'm impressed.
There you go.
He's a jack of all trades.
You don't understand how many times I will say that before the playoffs
I love it.
start.
It is one of the best tirades of all time. in
I
sports.
wish we had a soundboard. I'd play it. But anyways.
But I'm sure you were very happy to see that. I saw you posting on social media, Dan, after the Lions defeated the Packers.
I was happy.
The thing for me and the media and Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, they called it like a fluke or something in the pregame show that the Packers thought, oh, they just lost to the Lions once. But the Lions did it again, and just starting off with the Detroit Lions, they're not in the playoffs this year, but
they should be. Yes,
I agree because they worked their tail ends off to get to where they are, and the culture is definitely changing in there.
Yeah, I agree. They pulled out all the stops too, and the trick plays. They had a couple trick plays. They looked like a team that had playoff aspirations, and they could have just lied down or whatever. But you heard Dan Campbell before the game. We want them out of the playoffs too. I think he said something to that effect to the reporters. So it was like right off the bat, he knew this is what we want to do. We want to knock the Packers out. We know we have that chance tonight, and we're going to do that. And you could see it. I mean, the Lions were locked in fully, and even when they got behind, you just had a feeling that they were going to find a way. At least I did, and they certainly did. And that's a tough environment, one of the toughest in sports, to go into Lambeau and beat the Packers. And not only that, but to send them home is just, it's awesome, straight up. But I will say about Dan Campbell, expectations are going to be high next year. You saw what this team could do.
Yep.
Finish with the winning record. Next year is going to go a long way for him. If they struggle next year, I just don't know. I just don't know if he's the guy.
I'll say this right now. This offseason is by far going to be the most important offseason in this whole rebuild project that they're doing there in Detroit, because they have the pieces in place. They're going to have caps. They're going to have cap space. They're going to have the draft capital, of course, because they have that Rams pick. That's going to be a high pick because the Rams were terrible this year. So they have the capital to thus improve on the squad. It's just they got to get the right players in the building that are going to advance this culture and also advance them further into their goals here.
Agreed.
But this could easily become another Houston or another, Jacksonville situation where they're good, but it's, they make a couple wrong moves and it all falls apart.
It's tank time. Yeah. Agreed. Totally agree.
So we're just going to fly through week 18 because the main focus is the playoff picture, breaking into the playoff picture. But the week 18 finale with the two Saturday games, Chiefs, Raiders, Carlos, they looked incredible as always.
Yeah, they did. That was the most complete performance I've seen out of the Chiefs all year. Let's go. And Cheers. We got the 1 seed. Let's go.
They're going around in circles doing trick.
Let me ask you guys. Hold on. Let me ask you guys, because this has been a topic of conversation. Was that disrespectful? I think it was disrespectful, but I loved it.
Yeah, it's certainly certainly arrogant. I mean, I don't know if it's disrespect as much as that, but it worked. And it worked not once but twice because, it got called back for a penalty and then they ran the same play. Obviously, it was a different structure. They had a normal huddle the second time, but
yeah,
but
that was essentially the same play.
Yeah, that was definitely a slap in the face to the Raiders for sure. But look, I mean, you have to be prepared for the Chiefs to pull out all the stops, and they did.
And they did just that, my friend.
Man, unbelievable. That's one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
My boy. Patty Mahomes has officially solidified himself as MVP.
I agree. I totally agree. We'll talk about that later, but yeah, it's not even close in my opinion this year.
Goddamn right, it's not.
And the Jags and the Titans, very close game. Obviously, Joshua Dobbs was starting for the Titans.
What a bad game it was to be. It was a bad game.
I mean,
it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. It wasn't great football. I mean,
it wasn't great football, but it was.
That's what I mean by a bad game. That's what I mean by bad games. Yeah, I mean,
what I'm saying.
In terms of the actual football played, it was terrible. In terms of the storylines and everything about it, fantastic television.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, these two teams, it's win and you're in. So obviously both teams were fighting their tails off and the Titans were leading for a little bit and the Jags come back, obviously rightfully so. The Jaguars have more weapons, but Joshua Dobbs did come in, and I'm not going to say he had a great performance, but he only had
He
9
didn't have an awful
incompletions.
performance, though. He didn't have an awful. You see, the problem with the Titans is they're too banged up. They did nothing to really replace AJ Brown. So they don't really have the receivers. Derrick Henry is just, like I said, he's not the same running back anymore. And
Yeah,
they were in quarterback turmoil all season because Tannehill couldn't stay healthy, and Willis, it wasn't ready to go. Like, he's just not an NFL quarterback yet. He needs time to develop, and he can't really complete many passes. So they were just kind of in limbo. Dobbs came in. He made some pretty solid plays against the Cowboys, a couple weeks ago on that Thursday night, and he didn't look too bad in this game. It's just like I said, ultimately the Jaguars, they have a deity at quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, and they have some pretty solid weapons around him, and they were just on the they were ascending while the Titans have been crashing for the second half of the season. I mean, they ended the season on a 7-game lose streak.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Jags came into the game hot, and they were on fire the last part of the season, like you said, Carlos. And you just kind of had a feeling like the momentum and everything was on their side. The fact that the game was that close, I mean, it's hard to chalk it up to just one thing. I think the fact that it was a divisional game, it was a winner-take-all situation, that's going to happen 9 times out of 10. You're going to have one blowout thrown in there now and then. But, yeah, you hit the nail on the head. The Titans have had a lot of injuries and a lot of other issues. This just wasn't their year. The Jags got hot at the right time, and that's kind of why I know we're going to talk about this later on, but that's kind of why I like them in the first round of the playoffs against the Chargers. I think they're riding that high right now, and I think it continues for at least one more week. So I really like what Doug Peterson's done. He's made an immediate impact. He could be coach of the year. Could be.
But in fairness, I mean, he's coming in after Urban Meyer, your mortal enemy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he deserves.
The bar was pretty low.
It goes from negative coach of the year to regular coach of the year. Yeah,
exactly.
So, man, yeah. That's still such a shocking move that they even brought him in the first place. But
right.
Just
stay
credit
with Fox, please.
Credit to Doug Peterson.
You have to. You have to. Yeah.
He's doing a great job, and it shows that he's definitely changing things, and things are moving in the right direction for hopefully seasons to come. Looking at some other games, just briefly, the Vikings over the Bears, not a surprise. The Texans over the Colts.
Losing the number 1 pick. They lost the number 1 pick. Lovie Smith giving the Bears another gift. Fantastic.
Well, I mean, I guess it really didn't matter, but could we say Lovie Smith got fired for losing the number 1 pick?
No, I think they were already going to fire him. I don't.
They set him up for failure.
Yeah.
I think that's
listen,
unfair.
If we really want to talk about a garbage organization, I mean, it's the Texans right now. I mean, they've done this to 2 coaches, where they bring them in for 1 year. They don't really let them establish what they want to do. How can a coach in 1 year be able to make an impact on this franchise? How does this make your franchise appealing in any way? What big name coach is going to come to Houston and be like, and feel secure? You just fired 3 coaches in 3 years, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't think it's fair. Lovie Smith's been to a Super Bowl, guys. We remember this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while.
I know it has been a while, yes, but still, he has that experience. Why not give him 1 more year to see what he can do, what he can change? What's that going to hurt?
Who knows?
Next thing you know, the Texans are going to rehire Billy O'Stooge, and
he's going back to New England.
No, I'm playing.
And honestly, New England needs him.
Yeah, I mean, Lovie Smith jumped on a sinking ship. It was over before he got there. So,
Oh yeah, 100%. Like he came into with nothing. Like this franchise gave him nothing, and then honestly, it's probably for the best that Lovie Smith got fired because but he left them a brown paper bag full of dog turd in it by losing them the number 1 pick and giving the Bears so much leverage in the trade market because they can definitely trade out of that 1 pick and get so much for it because they don't need a quarterback. So it's like, why do they want the number 1 overall pick?
Right. Great point. Great point.
Other scores. The Panthers over the Saints 10-7.
Irrelevant. It's irrelevant.
Terrible.
Could this
Terrible
potentially mean Steve Wilkes keeps the Panthers job or not?
Irrelevant. It's all irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
I don't think it matters. Yeah, I really don't think that matters.
It's all irrelevant.
Well, this game really sucked. The Dolphins over the Jets. That was terrible.
Bad game.
My boy Joe Flacco knocking the Steelers out of the playoffs one more time. Let's go.
Love it. He's still a Raven at heart.
He only had 149 yards with.
Yeah, that game was absolutely terrible. That game was awful.
I
didn't know why.
And the Dolphins are in the playoffs.
Listen, I really wonder who's going to be the quarterback for their playoff game. It just can't be Tua. That's all I know. You can't have 3 concussions in the span of like 2 months. And
it would not be a good look.
And be playing the playoffs. He needs to call like they just need to call it for the season. Like he's just done. Yeah. And either hopefully Teddy Bridgewater's, I think it's his thumb that's injured. I don't know what his pinky. Hopefully that heals up enough for him to be able to play, or else you're going with Skylar Thompson, and that's just terrible. That dude's should not be in the NFL.
Bad.
He's terrible.
I agree.
And I want to thank Kirby for the visual there of showing us what a pinky looks like. Thank you, Kirby. I appreciate that.
When in doubt, pinky out.
So
Fancy.
Dan, you mentioned your boy Joe Flacco keeping these Steelers out of the playoffs, but credit to Mike Tomlin once again.
We did this last season, Kirby. We honestly don't have to go in a soliloquy here, okay? Yeah, the man has kept his record alive of never having a losing season. Okay,
damn good.
Congratulations!
They started this season.
Congratulations!
Yeah,
you started with Mitch Trubisky. You should have expected to start off rough. Okay, Kenny Pickett had to grow into the role. He's grown into it. They're going to be a problem next year. They will be a problem next year. I will say that.
Yeah, they gotta work on that offense. But
also, TJ Watt was injured for most of the season as well.
Yeah, he's
a game wrecker.
He is tough to slow down. Yeah. He's got a lot of energy. Yeah. Hats off to him. It's just insane. The Steelers are a class. I mean, they're an organization that's, almost the best in the NFL historically and, recently as well. Obviously, I think as far as Super Bowls, obviously the Patriots recently, but in the last 15 years. But yeah, the fact that he's done that well for so long is unbelievable. Now, I do think Matt Canada should be fired. I think he's a stooge. But other than that, I think if they move on from him and they continue to work on this offense and get him a couple more weapons, because he doesn't have a ton of guys to throw to right now. Outside of Anyway, my brain just went blank. But anyway,
congratulations, Mike Tomlin.
Crazy.
Moving on, this game probably not to be talked about, but the 49ers dogging the Cardinals and goodbye Cliff Kingsbury.
Expected.
It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Goodbye, Cliff Kingsbury. We hardly knew ye.
What we thought at the beginning of the year,
that was
Cliff
good.
Kingsbury would be the first coach fired.
He should have been. And honestly, the fact that the Cardinals are now
letting
Kyler Murray have input on the next head coach shows that they're not going to do any better. Because why does Kyler Murray deserve input on the head coach? Why?
He's probably on a conference call with candidates playing Call of Duty, right?
Maybe.
It's a double RP weekend, don't you know?
Well done. Well done.
Thank you. By the way, great singing. That was really good. I did not expect that.
Oh.
I didn't know you were.
I
you were a
have
karaoke
I
kind of
can
guy.
hit a good note every now and again, but I'm
Man.
not a singer unless
Was
I'm in
not
my
ready
car.
for that.
All right. So this game did not
Oh,
really
hold on. Before we move off the 49ers.
Okay. Yep.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. Is Brock Purdy him?
I think
don't
so.
know.
I think the 49ers have found a diamond in the last pick.
I mean,
really do.
this is going to be very interesting to see how these playoffs go, because if Purdy makes a Super Bowl run, how do you go back to Trey Lance?
Yeah, how?
You can't.
Like
that would be criminal if Brock Purdy and the 49ers made their way to the Super Bowl. It would be absolutely a federal offense to put Trey Lance back in.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Purdy. He's just so poised. It's weird.
Calm.
He looks like calm. He's been in the league for years.
Yeah.
I know.
He takes what the defense gives him, which is something that a lot of young quarterbacks don't do.
Yeah, but also Kyle Shanahan has really simplified things for him, and they obviously have a stout defense. They have crazy weapons all over the field. You know, the 49ers are scary, man. I'm terrified of the 49ers.
Yeah, they're my I think they're going to come out of the NFC. That's my bold pick.
That would be smart money.
But man, they are, and they're rolling right now too. They've got it all working. I mean, getting Christian McCaffrey was, I laughed at that move when it happened, but man, he has been.
But again, Kyle Shanahan was the right coach because he knows how to use a running back, and a running back of his skill that's just gold to him.
You can't defend him. He can do anything. It's just nuts.
Yeah,
it's just nuts. But yeah, they are a problem. And Brock Purdy is. I think he could be him. If he makes a Super Bowl run, or if he even gets to the NFC Championship game, I think you gotta go his direction.
I mean, they're for sure going to move off of Garoppolo. Yeah. They're for sure moving off of Garoppolo. Now the question is just going to be the Trey Lance Brock Purdy situation. That's what it's going to be. So
true that.
It'll be interesting.
It's gonna be fun.
Some more games that really didn't matter. The Eagles beating the Giants. The Giants
that mattered just because the Eagles finally clinched the East and they got the number 1 seed.
Yeah, but the Giants really did. They
didn't really play anybody.
They didn't put their starters out there. Yeah.
But yet it was still a game. So it's just the Eagles are just not. They're not at their peak right now. So I think they definitely needed to get the 1 seed, get the bye, kind of rest up, heal up some players, because
got to get Jalen Hurts.
They kind of limped. They limped into the playoffs, and Jalen Hurts does need more time
to heal up that shoulder. Badly.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Congratulations to Russell Wilson, 3 touchdowns and a win over the Chargers.
That was so stupid. That was so dumb by the Chargers. Why? Why did you have your starters in for that long? And then Mike Williams gets hurt. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Brandon Staley for you. I mean, he's done dumb ignorant things before. Yeah.
He's a moron. And it's just man, and the sad thing is he's not going to get fired now that they made the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got that incentive now. Yeah, and I see a lot of stuff. It's well, Russell Wilson wasn't the problem. Okay, he's had 2 good games in a row. Can we stop with that?
But please? I do think that this is more showing how bad of a coach Nathaniel Hackett was. I just don't think Nathaniel Hackett was. I think he was just out of his element. I really do. I don't think he was good.
I certainly don't disagree with that. I think that's definitely, the case. But let's wait until let's see what happens next season. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he comes out and is terrible again, then it wasn't all Nathaniel Hackett's.
Yeah.
He's going to go by Nathaniel now. That's his new name.
So
maybe he can do some Subway commercials now during his free time.
All right, so another game that really didn't matter, but I'm just going to say Kyle Trask got a little bit of action with Tampa Bay as Atlanta beat Tampa Bay. They went to Brady for a series, Blaine Gabbert, who threw a touchdown. And we saw a little bit of Kyle Trask, but obviously Tampa Bay resting since they won the division, getting set for the playoffs. Dan, your thoughts on the Ravens Bengals really quickly. I know that their quarterback, it was their third string quarterback. His name's escaping me right now,
Anthony
but
Brown.
Yeah, I was gonna
Anthony
say it's
Brown. But
Yep.
it's basically they're playing right again next week, the Ravens and the Bengals.
It's not basically, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right there in Cincinnati once again. So yeah, it was going to be a long shot for the Ravens to win this game. I knew that. Especially offensively, it was going to be an issue with your third string quarterback. They were resting some players, and then also they're banged up as well. Kind of similar to Philly in that they I mean, it would have been nice if they could have had a first round bye, which obviously did not happen. They blew way too many leads this season to have a chance at that. So defensively, I was impressed with how the Ravens played. I felt like they did a pretty good job against a really, really talented Bengals offense with a ton of weapons. They are a headache for any secondary to go up against their receivers. And Hayden Hurst as well, the former Raven who just likes to kill us for some reason when he
because
plays
he's a former Raven.
Yeah. So there's a lot of motivation there. But no, I was impressed with the defense. I expected that sort of outcome. I was kind of surprised that they were in it for as long as they were. And as long as we get, I'm really hoping Lamar plays. I think if Tyler Huntley plays, I think our chances of winning are pretty slim.
Lamar is literally the only chance you guys have at winning, to be completely honest here. Without Lamar, like this team, like Huntley last season did a great job of replacing him. But like, again, you see the record, you saw it last season, you see it this season. When Lamar plays, you guys do find ways to win games. But when he doesn't play, it falls apart. It completely has fallen apart again this season. And also, once again, like, you're expecting these backup quarterbacks to play like the unicorn. Like Lamar Jackson is a unicorn. Like there's no other Lamar Jackson out there. So you're keeping the offense the same. Like you're keeping the offense the same, expecting these two guys to be Lamar Jackson, and they're just not going to. And then on top of that, you don't have the weapons to be able to cover these guys the way the 49ers did to cover Brock Purdy's ass.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
You just hit the nail on the head. They don't have a Deebo Samuel. They don't have a Christian McCaffrey. They don't have let me think of who else. An Ayuk. They don't have any of those guys. So, they have Mark Andrews, and
Mark Andrews has been super inconsistent this season.
He's been inconsistent. Yeah. And he's been banged up too.
That's another
thing. So they've really had to. I was impressed with the young guys that are out there. Charlie Kohler, I think it was his second game he's appeared in with the Ravens. He had a couple catches, but he also had a couple drops too. You expect that with a young player. I've liked what Isaiah Likely's done this season. I feel like, next year he could become a big part of the offense. And I just don't have much positive to say about the offense because they didn't run the ball much. Gus Edwards got knocked out early in the game. J.K. Dobbins was resting. So, didn't expect much from the run game. They didn't do much. And it's just they're tumbling right now offensively. I think if Lamar plays, we got a good shot because he can get us 20 to 24 points, which is what we need because our defense is good enough to get off the field and when the time's needed to force a turnover. And we know this Bengals team well. I mean, they know us well too, obviously. And there's some, there's some bad blood there. I mean, we saw, some of the players make comments that there was some cheap shots and stuff like that. And it's an AFC North game, I think it's going to be kind of chippy out there, to say the least. So I think it's going to be a physical game. If Lamar doesn't play, I don't think we have a shot unless we're going to return picks for touchdowns and special teams somehow becomes a factor, which it hasn't been all season. So. If he doesn't play, the season's over. It's a one and done situation.
I think traveling back to Cincinnati after playing Cincinnati, I think they can learn a lot from that. If you get what I'm saying, because you just played this team once before. You're going back to Cincinnati, doing it again.
Well, this will be the third time. Don't forget that. Don't forget they also play
third time this
earlier.
season.
Correct. Yeah, third time this season, but yet back to back. I feel like this could be a very competitive and very close game.
Or Cincinnati, because this happened to Dallas like 10 years ago, I want to say, when we beat Philly to end the season, and then we had to play Philly immediately in the wild card round, and we just completely dominated them. So it can go either way. It can go. It becomes way, and it's not as if the game wasn't competitive as it was, right? I think if Lamar plays on Sunday, like last Sunday, if he played last Sunday, I think the Ravens had a legitimate shot at winning that game. So it'll be interesting to see if he does play on this Sunday. Yeah, this Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday night. Like it'll be interesting to see what happens, but I don't know. We just don't know anything about Lamar right now.
Right, and there's concern with the rust. He hasn't played in 5 weeks. It's like really
he hasn't even been practicing.
He hasn't practiced in 5 weeks. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. Like, and the fact that it's 50-50 at this point is amazing to me. And I don't think he's practiced so far this week. So I think if he doesn't practice by tomorrow,
the first major practice is is tomorrow. So,
right,
right.
If he's not out there tomorrow, then I'm officially doubtful that he's going to play.
Yeah, I agree.
If not completely, accepting that he's not going to play. And I don't know. I think Anthony Brown, although he did have, he was responsible for 3 turnovers, which one of them really wasn't his fault. It was off the receiver's hands. The pick he threw. I still think he gives us a better chance to win than Tyler Huntley does. And I think Tyler Huntley's just been brutally bad this year. So I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. I think it's going to be tough. I think the defense will keep the Ravens in the game, but it's just a matter of, can we keep up? Can we put points on the board? We haven't done that. So if Lamar's not out there,
we can skip this game during our playoff preview. By the way,
sure.
We're basically doing it right now.
There we go.
Yeah, because it's a double back game. So
yeah.
All
right, moving on. The Lions defeating the Packers to keep the Packers out of the playoffs on Sunday night. By way of that, the Seahawks, with their overtime win against the Rams, get into the playoffs. But the Lions just showing grit there.
Hey, congratulations to Geno Smith, man. He made it. Listen, the Seahawks won the trade. They won the trade.
They won
the trade. They're going to get a good draft pick out of Denver. And they're in the playoffs, and they got. Where's Russ? Russell Wilson's at home. Like,
they're paying their quarterback a lot less than an arm and a leg too. That's for damn sure.
That too.
So,
yeah,
we don't have to talk about this game. I don't really have much on the Seahawks, Rams.
Yeah,
and we already talked about Green Bay, Detroit.
Yep. So,
let's end it. Just do it. Just bring it up. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's do it.
Really?
Let's do it.
Just
do it.
Just rip the Band-Aid
off.
How about them Cowboys? Carlos, how you feeling, buddy?
I'm still feeling pretty good because, we're in the playoffs and your happy asses are on the couch. It's fine.
It's a good point.
It's cool. We beat you guys earlier in the season.
So.
You didn't see me running around, texting memes and all that stuff constantly. Like,
is that what he was doing to you? Is that what he was doing?
Oh, you saw it in the group message. He was resending memes. It's just like, dude, we already saw it. True. He's like, sorry, I have a lot of people to I got a lot of rounds to make. I don't know what I sent where. It's like, all right, dude. I'd be like, big loser energy. This is how you know the Cowboys live rent free in everybody's head.
Well,
that is true. That's a great point.
We live rent free in your head, Kirby. Literally, we truly do.
Listen,
every time
you
listen.
It's not
anytime the Cowboys lose, what's the first thing he does? He puts on how about them Cowboys? Like, it's just like, dude, we live rent free in your head. It's okay. We understand. You wish you could. Sure, we haven't won a Super Bowl in 26 years, but y'all haven't won one in 30. Okay, sure, sure, we've been we don't make a run to the championship game, but at least we can make the playoffs. Y'all, like, we've had back-to-back 12-win seasons. You guys have had back-to-back 7-win seasons. Actually, no, you guys are 8-9 this year.
8-1.
8-1. 500.
Yeah, we're 500 on the season with a tie.
Yeah. So, all right,
you do.
I'm done.
Well, let me say this. This was absolutely not the result I was expecting with Sam Howell.
Yeah, but it's one game.
I don't know.
Again,
but also
was Dallas really not trying to win this game?
So that's what I'll be like. You got to think that Dallas wasn't going to dig into their bag too much because they don't want to show too much to Tampa. We know we're facing Tampa Bay. We knew it. Okay. We've been knowing this for the past few weeks. Okay. I think the disappointing thing and the problem with the Dallas Cowboys fan base is that every slight inconvenience after every single loss, it's the end of the freaking world. I understood week 1, right? When we lost to Tampa, we looked terrible in that game, right? We looked awful. And on top of that, we were still kind of hurting from the playoff loss to the 49ers where this team just laid an egg. Like they got hit in the mouth by the 49ers and didn't respond, right? But like, seriously, like after every single loss, you see it on Bleacher Report. You see it all over the place. Like you see it on all the Cowboys post-game shows. The fans act as if like, oh my goodness, the sky is falling. It's just like, man, like we got to keep our expectations in check. Now, in terms of, again, were we not really trying to win this game? I think Dallas, I just don't think Dallas had it. Like I think we already knew we were in the playoffs and the juice just wasn't there. Do I think that they purposely laid down and let Washington win? No, I don't think that. I think they did give it a shot, but they obviously didn't want to show too much in their playbook because, again, Tampa Bay is resting. They don't want to give Tom Brady too much on what we're doing in terms of defensive scheme and offensive plays. And I just think at a certain point, they were just like, look, we just don't have it today. And, Sam Howell, good for him. He looked pretty solid. I mean, I don't think you can necessarily determine he's your franchise quarterback for the future. But I think this is definitely.
I've seen half the fan base say that already.
Yeah, but your fan base is just dying.
That's for problem.
You guys have been. Hold on. The Washington fan base has been so deprived of good quarterback play, right? Taylor Heineke was the guy for a while. You guys were, I mean, not you, Kirby, but they were.
That was the Washington.
I don't know about the Carson Wentz thing. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure the reaction was all together. That it was just like, what do we do? What are y'all doing?
Yeah. Not everyone.
Well, man, not everyone, but but
sorry.
Alex Smith. Even though he was, I was basically on one leg. He was playing good enough that you guys were like, please don't go. But like the dude was barely moving in the pocket as it was. You guys have been so deprived of good quarterback play that like you guys want to crown this kid after just one game against the team that wasn't necessarily trying. Like, and Matt, if this like let's flip games here. We saw what Dallas looks like when they try against Washington. We saw it earlier in the season. We demolish. At a certain point, you just got to think Dallas just did not want to try anymore.
And I'm not taking anything away from the fact that, yes, Dallas did dominate, but could we have seen a different result if Taylor Heineke was in that game? We will never know.
Nah, but I don't know. It's just something it was just one of those games where like it all just started going wrong for Dallas from the jump, the punt. The punter dropping the ball, Turpin fumbling it. It just kind of went wrong, and it's just like everything was going in Washington's favor.
The pick.
Yeah, Dak had one of his worst games I've ever seen.
He threw it to the same guy.
Well, not only that, he didn't even look off the receiver. Like he literally just threw it right back to him in that same spot. It's just like, on top of that, you're throwing it to Noah Brown. Why are we throwing it to Noah Brown? Well, like, and Michael Gallup, like there was barely any motion. Look, we're harping on this game too long. At the end of the day, Dallas looked completely awful. In a way, I think this will be good for Dallas because we know we can't come out and perform like that, or else we're done. Yeah. Zach Martin had the quote. He's like, "We put out a performance like that, our season's over, basically." From this point forward, and given what happened last year, where it's the same scenario. Week 18, we already know we're in the playoffs. We're in Philly. We dominate the Eagles. And then what happens? We come out against the 49ers and we just, like I said, we completely laid an egg. We got smacked in the mouth. Nothing. We were feeling ourselves after that game. We were like, oh yeah, we're back. We're back in like our early season form. Hopefully this is going to motivate the boys to understand that like this isn't a game anymore. Like we have to go now. Like this is it. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I agree. It almost serves no greater motivation than like, okay, well, now we're fired up for next week. We know, and it's win or go home. You can't lay another egg. I think the Cowboys are going to use this to win.
I certainly hope so because Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy's job is on the line here. I truly do. Yeah. We cannot make another first round exit. Like at all, and especially against this Bucs team who has looked terrible this season, has found a little spark here lately, but still Dallas should be able to beat this team. We honestly should. This is not the Tampa Bay that we faced, last year in the season opener. Like this is not the same Tampa Bay.
Yeah, this is a team that someone had to win that division. It just so happened to be the Bucs. So, yeah, I think the problem for Washington is, Carlos laid it out perfectly. The second you have a quarterback that has a decent game, you want to make him the next ruler of Washington. It's like,
not me.
I'm not saying, I'm just saying the fan base in general. I see it. I'm on social media too. I know what people say. It's a very, social media in general. So Carlos, I just want to go back to your original statement way back when you said that the Cowboys fan base is the sky's falling. I think that's true of every fan base on social media. It is a toxic place to be when your team has a bad game, because it's like everyone wants everybody fired immediately and let's burn this team to the ground and start over. It's very over.
Yeah, people just need to keep their expectations. Like again, only 1 out of 32 wins the Super Bowl.
That's it.
It's super hard to win games in the NFL. Yep. The Dallas Cowboys just had back-to-back 12-win seasons. Like, we haven't done that since, I think it was the 90s. Like,
right.
It's super rare to do this.
Yeah. I think I think Dallas will be motivated by this. I think they're going to be fine. Washington, I think you just have to weigh your options next year at quarterback. You can't come into the season with the expectation that one guy is going to start over the other two. Carson Wentz is definitely
he's gone. He's gone. I think he's done.
You can't go back to him. That was a horrible mistake when they brought him in. Never should have done it to begin with. I think all three of us said that when that happened. That was a big mistake. I think Sam Howell could be the starting quarterback, but I don't know. Who knows? I think you have to go into the offseason and training camp next year with an open mind. Also, I don't know who's going to be the head coach. I don't think Ron Rivera should. I think
the offensive coordinator Scott Turner just got let go today.
I think Scott Turner was the scapegoat here. I think Ron Rivera's coming back for another year, and they're just going to go with a different
OC. Of course he is.
Brutal.
Because Ron Rivera and
we are harping on this game a lot right now.
I'm not sure if we discussed it on this podcast, but Ron Rivera will be staying because of the fact that he came in to try to change culture for the Washington Commanders.
And he has done a good job of changing the culture. I just don't think he's been making the right
coach.
Yeah, but that's what I was about to say. I don't think in terms of like the actual coaching accent
for him because of the fact
slow your roll. Hold on, slow your roll there, okay? In terms of coaching, yes, like he's just not great, right? He's just not. Again, you come out looking like this on a game that doesn't matter, but where was all this last week in the game that mattered? Your playoff hopes were on the line. No.
And then when the reporters ask him, he gets upset and offended and yells at them. It's like, dude, it's like it's a legit question. Like, where was this passion a week ago? Where was this? Why didn't your team come together when it mattered? When you could have gotten into the postseason? So that's a whole other thing too. The way he treats the media is I'm over it. I'm over it. Like the guy's just
after they beat the Bears.
I'm done.
And he was like, I put up
yeah,
this
exactly
on Carson, and he walks off.
Yeah, he's like, he just goes off. It's like, it's a legit question. Like, come on. It's not like the guy's asking for your social security
Long story
number.
short, I agree too that like I don't think Ron Rivera should be the coach here. I think he should move into a more corporate office type of position, and where he's more establishing the culture guy. That's what he should be, and leave the football decisions to somebody else at this point, in terms of coaching, because I just don't think it's clear. Like it's been 3 seasons and you won the division at 7-9. Last year you only won 7 games, and this year you went 8-1. Like the progression is not there, right? It's just not, and it's just 3 years is a good sample size in my opinion.
Not to mention you're going to have likely in the offseason a new owner. And that's, that they're
I hope there's a new owner. I hope this freaking team gets a new stadium. Okay. They're the reason why we're not getting any World Cup games over here.
I know.
The hell. They're the reason why Taylor Swift doesn't do concerts over here. The hell.
I know. It's crazy.
Well, listen, the last thing I want to ask, in honest opinion, and make it short because we have to move on here.
Yeah.
Sam Howell's performance. Did you think he did a good job, or do you think it was
a good performance, but it's not enough for me to name him the starter?
I'm not asking that. I'm just asking.
It was a good performance. It was a good performance.
Yeah. What about you, Dan?
Yeah, it was good. He definitely played well, but like Carlos said, you can't crown him anything, and you can't say he's the future because you don't know. You just don't know.
I will say the arm strength looked pretty good with a few.
All right, we need to move on.
Yeah, we got to move on. We can't keep harping on Sam Howell.
We're moving on, but just the more of the story. How about them Cowboys? And when we return, we will break through and talk about the start of the NFL playoffs. Right after this, you're listening to the Kirby on Sports podcast. For sports fans living in condominium and homeowners associations, as well as business professionals, when you need a reserve study, PM Plus Reserves has been in business since 1990. Their studies are accurate and easy to understand. Check them out when your association needs a study. www.pmplusreserves.com. You can also contact them at 703-803-8436. Once again, www.pmplusreserves.com. Is it finally time to upgrade your home's interior? How about with an authentic farm table made locally from recycled barnwood? Shenandoah Primitives, based right here in Winchester, Virginia, makes farm tables, benches, tables, coffee tables, and a long list of other items for your home decorating needs. At Shenandoah Primitives, function and style are combined for great furniture that will last generations. If you're interested in combining the industrial look of metal with wood, or considering something incredibly unique with a live edge, Shenandoah Primitives turns those ideas into reality. Thinking about a mirror, wine rack, or other accent piece for your home, Shenandoah Primitives can assist with that as well. As a local small business, Shenandoah Primitives is happy to work with each client for a custom design or schedule an appointment to come out and view current inventory. Local, high-quality, handmade items can be found at Shenandoah Primitives. Find us on Facebook and Instagram, or visit us at www.shenandoahprimitives.com. Once again, that's www.shenandoahprimitives.com. It is now time.
Exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero. Okay.
Okay, not sure what that was, but it is time for the drive as we drive you through all the matchups that are coming up. Wild Card Weekend. It's brought to you by Bear Pest and Termite Services.
You may have heard the saying, it's not if your home will get termites, it's when. At Barrett Pest and Termite Services, we're doing our best to refute that saying one home at a time. Our thorough inspections and treatments are designed to keep your home or business termite-free. Termites cause $5 billion in damages every year. A preemptive inspection is one of the best ways to keep that from happening to you. Because once you see evidence of termites with the naked eye, you can be sure they've already been at work for some time. Put a stop to termites and the damage they do by calling Barrett Pest and Termite Services 540-340-3922. Barrett Pest and Termite Services 540-340-3922.
Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Okay, hold on. Stop. Dan, you couldn't see this. Okay, you couldn't see this. Kirby was going at it backstage.
What?
What do you mean?
Kirby was going at it backstage. Hold on. Hold on. Hold your horses. Proof. Hold your horses. Look at him. 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 Hold on. Look at him. Look at him.
Oh,
look, he's going crazy during that ad.
What? What? What was that?
Just know that is for the podcast listeners. I just showed a video of Kirby dancing backstage while we just played that ad, and he was going at it. Oh, he was doing it the whole time. That's just the end. Okay, that's the end. He was, whew,
man.
Whew. All right, we ready?
Thank you for showing me that. That made my night for sure. I appreciate that. You're a real one for that one. All right, Kirby, go ahead. You got control of the podcast. It's yours again. Go for it.
All right.
Or
not. Carlos.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, what's wrong with dancing, bro?
No, there's nothing wrong. I just wanted to show the people. I just wanted to show them. I wanted Dan to see the magnificence that I witnessed.
I am so glad you did. All right,
we ready to do this?
Let's go.
Saturday, January 14th. Sunday, January 15th. And Monday, January 16th. It is the Super Wild Card Weekend.
That was terrible. It's Super Wild Card Weekend.
Super Wild Card Weekend.
You don't do it right.
Okay, whatever. Let's get into it. Stop critiquing how I introduce things, Carlos, and let's talk about these things. Because that's what the audience wants.
They want me to hold you accountable so you can be a better host. You're welcome. You're welcome, America.
We have read the fan mail. Believe me.
Oh, yeah.
That's
what they say.
Mail.
They say you're the Russell Wilson of this podcast.
If you have any fan mail,
said, I'm feeling dangerous.
If you have any fan mail,
Mr. Unlimited. All right, this is off the rails. Let's get this back.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're getting off the rails. This is the pick'em. We're doing a pick'em again, and the loser has to eat 24 pancakes.
No.
Can we remind everyone who won last year?
Let me.
Who was the winner?
Go ahead.
Dan was the winner last year. I came in second place. Kirby came in last place. His punishment was to eat 24 pancakes in 24 hours. Okay, at IHOP. He never fulfilled this said punishment. So, in the spirit of the competition, we have given him we have decided individual punishments for each other. Okay, if Kirby comes in last place again this year, he doubles his intake and has to eat 48 pancakes in 24 hours. Good luck, my dude. Okay, if Dan loses this year, he will then also have to eat 24 pancakes along with Kirby because Kirby still has to pay up for last year. Okay. Either way, Kirby's still eating 24 pancakes. Okay.
Yeah.
If I lose, I have to do the Hot Ones challenge live on this podcast. And I will, of course, pay because I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word if I lose. But I'm not going to lose, okay? Because I'm not. I'm not. I've set it up for you.
All right.
That's great.
Well, that is the pick'em. That's how it's going to work.
Let's explain it for the listeners because not everybody's watching.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. This is a podcast too.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So if you are not watching on YouTube, we have the pick'em up on screen right now. The I can't even say the name. The Seahawks, 49ers, Chargers, Jags, Dolphins, Bills, Giants, Vikings, Ravens, Bengals, and Cowboys, Bucks. And we're going to do a pick 'em each and every week. And we're going to see how it goes and see who gets the best overall. So that's how it's going to go. So I guess we're just going to recap all these games and
we're going to preview, not recap. They haven't been done yet.
You got me off the rails. You got me off.
No. This is you see. This is why you are now the Russell Wilson, because a little thing goes off, you don't play well. All right, come on, let's go, Mr. Unlimited. Let's go.
We are going to preview. Let's preview starting with the Seahawks and the 49ers.
Clean sweep.
I mean, I think it's safe to say.
Listen, the Niners are going to win this one.
Yeah,
it is an uphill battle for the Seahawks to win this game.
I really
be considered
think so.
the biggest
It's going to be
upset.
very hard.
It would be considered one of the biggest upsets in the postseason, I think.
I think the Dolphins Bills would be would be a bigger upset.
Fair.
I can agree with you there.
Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement. San Francisco is going to win. There's not much to really say on this game, to be completely honest. Like, we all know San Francisco's just a better team.
Yeah, I agree.
The Chargers and the Jags.
This is going to be a fun one.
Dan, the lone wolf, picking the Jags.
Hey,
yeah,
I respect it. I respect it.
Too.
This game was tough for me because I don't know. They're pretty. I think the Chargers are slightly better, but I just feel like the Jags are riding the momentum, or riding the wave right now. And that matters at the end of the regular season.
Here's the thing that really sucks is the winner of this game is probably going to play the Chiefs. So in reality, I would probably want the Jags to win, because the Chargers always play the Chiefs very tough.
Yeah. And they've seen them already twice this year. So you got that as well.
And both games literally went down to the wire. And it's very hard for a team to beat another team 3 times in a year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's definitely an upset if Jacksonville wins this game, but I don't know. I kind of like their energy. I like what they've been doing. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a great game, and it's crazy to think, like, if you would have said last year that the Jags were going to be a playoff team at the end of this season, like, it'd be like, what? Or even like, 4 weeks, 5 weeks into the season, like, no way. The Jags are going to be in the postseason, but here they are. They made it in, and I think they I think they win a very close, competitive, physical game. I think it's going to be a very physical game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Staley, hot take, costs the Chargers in some way in this game.
It's not that hot of a take. I mean, the Chargers are a cursed franchise, it feels like.
They're
so
cursed.
Like, anything and everything bad could and will probably happen to them.
I think it's going to be really close regardless.
I just think it's going to be, I mean, it's the battle of the long-haired quarterbacks, who's going to get the, the title of Sunshine, a little Remember the Titans reference for you. And it'll be interesting to see. I just think ultimately, I think the Chargers just have much, they have a lot of talent. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Mike Williams, if he's going to be able to play or not.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they said back spasms was the issue, and he had to be helped on the bus. So that's not a good sign. So we'll see where it goes. But I just think ultimately the Chargers are, they just got Joey Bosa. Yeah. They just got Joey Bosa back. So Khalil Mack is good. They've gotten healthier. Obviously, the Mike Williams thing is one thing, but Keenan Allen is starting to run a lot better now than he was like earlier in the season. I just think this is going to be Herbert's coming out party. I think for sure. I think the Chargers I think they're going to win, but I'm not saying like Jacksonville's going to get blown out of the water. Like Jacksonville's going to put up a fight, but I just think this is the Chargers' time to win this game. Not to make a run, but to win this game.
Moving on, the Bills and the Dolphins. I just think nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, everybody, right? We all picked the Bills, and obviously they have the extra motivation of the whole. I think DeMar Hamlin might be at this game. I think he might be coming.
And
Ooh,
that would be. Is it in
that would
Buffalo?
be amazing.
It's in Buffalo,
It-
so
If
It
it's
is.
in Buffalo and DeMar Hamlin's going to be there, I would not be surprised if he's either wheelchaired or walked. I'm not sure what his current situation is in terms of if he's actually
yeah.
walking, but if they push him to the 50-yard line or he
Oh,
walks
man.
to the 50-yard line pregame,
It's
you know how loud that stadium will get. Do
Oh,
you?
yeah.
I
Well,
can
listen,
just
we already
imagine-
know the
Emotion.
Buffalo fan base is going to be absolutely
It's already
nuts during this
electric.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
and
going to be
the,
electrifying.
and the
for
problem with the Dolphins is they haven't been playing good leading up to this. Their quarterback situation is in turmoil right now. So I just don't see any way that Buffalo really loses to the Dolphins here, especially if it's Skylar Thompson playing. Ugh.
Yeah, there's so much left in the air. Like Carlos mentioned earlier, to start Tua in this game would sort of be almost criminal based on his concussion history this season. I think it's just smart to have him sit out and get healthy because listen, like mental health and that sort of stuff is way more important than a football game. I don't care what anybody says. So yeah, with Skylar Thompson starting, there's slim to none chance.
Even with Teddy Bridgewater starting, it's still slim to none here.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
So let's move on.
Yeah.
Moving on, the Giants and the Vikings. Dan and myself have picked the Vikings. Carlos has picked the Giants. I could see the Giants come out and play spoiler, but I just think the
Yeah.
Vikings have too many weapons on offense.
But
but
stop. No. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because here's why. They literally played each other a few weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Giants were the better team that day. They were much better. They've been playing better. They have a better coach, in my opinion, in Brian Daboll. I think the Giants are going to upset the Vikings. I just do. I just have this feeling that they are. The Vikings are frauds. They truly are. They are not as good as their record says they are. And they've won a lot of one-score games, but I just don't believe in the Vikings. And the Giants right now are playing great football.
Yeah, this game was tough for me as well.
it
and
was tough, I will admit.
I had that thought in the back of my head as well. The fact that the Vikings have really been a team where you just don't know which team's going to show up on the field. I think they'll finally get it right in this game. I think they don't really have a choice. You're paying Kirk Cousins $6 billion a game to step out on the field. He's got to win a playoff game here. And I think it comes in this game. I think it's going to be another nail biter. I think it's going to come down to the end. And as the Vikings have done most of the season, I think they're going to win a one-score game. The Giants their future is very bright though. And I think that, I would not be shocked if the Giants find a way to win this game. I think Carlos made a great point. They're playing great football right now. They have such a great motivator and head coach in Brian Daboll, as Carlos mentioned. And I know we're going to talk about him, I'm sure, in the awards section as well. So I don't want to spoil it much more. But yeah, I think the Vikings get it done. It's going to be a close game. It really all depends on what Kirk Cousins shows up. To me, that's the deciding factor in this game. If is this game in prime time? I'm a little concerned. No, it's not. Okay,
It's the 425.
The 4:30
every game is
game.
essentially prime time because they're the only game that's on.
Right, but if it's a night game, then Kirk Cousins.
It's gonna be a night game. It's gonna eventually get dark.
True. So I think the Vikings pull it out, but I think it's going to come down to the end, and it's going to be another nail biting game for them, as it's been for most of the season. So you have to earn to get those close games. I think if I don't know. I don't necessarily think they're frauds, but I do think
I think listen, I will be the one that goes on a limb. The Vikings are fraudulent. They're frauds. They are frauds. They are not a good football team.
And you know what? I have to give you credit because you've been saying that for most of the
Weeks.
season. Weeks now. So yeah. I think they pull it out, but it's going to be a good game. I think this is going to be one of the ones that really comes down to the wire for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I still feel like where the flaw is going to be is the Vikings on defense, because their defense over the past few weeks has not been the best. Just saying. So I'll leave it at that, but I think it's going to be a really close game. We touched on the Ravens and the Bengals. Do we need to do any more touching on them?
Not really, no. I mean, I guess we just got to say Kirby and me both picked the Bengals. Dan, of course. I mean, he has to pick the Ravens. It's his team.
Got to do it. Got to do it.
You got to. I understand completely. But I think it's just
a tough road.
I think it's just too tough of a game for, especially with the whole the question of Lamar going. Like, I just don't think the Ravens are going to have enough to beat the Bengals anyways.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. Yeah, I think if Lamar plays, though, he's the X factor, obviously, and I think we find a way to squeak by. So yeah, we talked about this game for quite a while earlier, so I don't think we have to cover it much more. So
Monday night Super Wild.
I hate this. I truly hate
Monday
this.
Monday night playoff
I hate
game
this
is bad.
Like why? Brutal. Like why are we doing Monday? It's a super wild card weekend. Monday is not part of the weekend. Like, you're making me wait an extra day to suffer here. Monday night is going to be terrible for me, dude.
Well, you know why they did that? Because it's Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
Yeah, but we could have easily just done that. Like they did it this past freaking weekend. Like they had Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Saturday. Like, why can't we have them on Saturday night?
It's true. It's a good point. It's kind of stupid.
I do not like Monday night. Like Monday night is like Monday is like the hardest day of the week, anyways, as it is. And then I got to come back home and suffer through this playoff game because this playoff game is not going to be fun for me at all.
I have a
and then you can't sleep because you're amped up after the game's over.
Exactly.
I have a confession to make. Mm-hmm. Last year when the Cardinals played the Rams on Monday night wild card, I lasted 5 minutes through the first quarter and fell asleep. I was dead tired.
How could you do that? You are a terrible person.
I know.
You're an awful human being, dude. You're the worst.
Man. I felt terrible, but that's how Mondays usually are.
That's 13 lashings for you.
On top of the pancakes while you're eating the pancakes.
You will be lashed while you eat the pancakes for that. This atrocity, this holy sin that you've committed.
But with that being said, I am picking the Buccaneers.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. You just don't ever want to pick the Cowboys. Give me your reasons.
Tom Brady is undefeated against the Dallas Cowboys.
In the regular season, not in the playoffs, so that record doesn't count.
Well, I'm going with him. I think the Bucs have the upper hand. I feel like the Commanders really just dug into Dallas's grave, just started digging their grave, and I just think the Bucs have the upper hand, the slight upper hand.
How? Okay, and what have you seen this season that somehow gives them the upper hand?
Well, Fournette.
Is it because they're at home?
Fournette?
Yeah, Fournette ran all over them last game. They just got to incorporate
week one.
Yeah.
You're trying to go back to week one when Dallas was in shambles. Kirby, what are you doing?
Hey, you might not agree with me, but that's just how
because your logic makes no sense sometimes. Fournette last time during week one, 18 weeks ago, when teams were all starting out fresh and the Tampa Bay didn't look any good back then and still haven't looked good since, are somehow the better, have the upper hand here? What?
I think.
You know what? I think Ryan Suckup is the MVP of this game. I think he kicks 10. No, that's just ridiculous.
I just think Tom Brady has some weapons he can go to. I know.
Okay. Wait.
Been injured some, but still, I think the Bucs and Tom Brady will have a good game plan coming into this, and I
don't disagree.
And this will be a close game. I'm not saying Tampa's going to blow Dallas out of the water and make Dak Prescott cry.
I don't think that would happen.
I'm just saying, I think the Bucs have a slight upper hand because of Tom Brady. He's been in this position before.
Yeah, but come on.
But
It's not the same Brady.
He's not the same Brady. We're not talking about the same Brady
against the Cowboys. I'm
not
sorry.
even the same as last year.
That's just how I feel.
And this is where you lose this challenge, and you're going to eat 48 pancakes because you're making a stupid choice here. Again, what have the Bucs shown you all season that makes you think that they have, like, I just don't understand this upper hand theory that you have here. I don't see it. I don't see like Dallas, even during Dallas's losses, aside from this past loss against the Commanders, which again, I think is going to motivate the Cowboys more than they started digging the grave over here. Digging the grave over here. Okay. Because they didn't. Okay. Let's be completely honest here. I mean, listen, in every loss, Dallas has put up points. This team puts up points. Okay. The question is can the defense play to the level that they played at earlier in the season? Because to be completely honest, Dallas's defense has been slacking a little bit the past couple of weeks. Obviously, there's been injuries. Leighton Vander Esch has been injured. We lost, we lost Anthony Brown earlier in the in the season. So our secondary has been kind of wishy-washy. Of course, we lost not Jordan. Was it Jordan Lewis? Yeah. I don't know. We just lost a lot of people in the secondary, right? And we're still trying to figure that out. We got Deron Bland, who, as far as I'm concerned, is fine. Obviously, came out late in the game against the Commanders with an apparent chest injury, but apparently he's going to be all good to go. And we just signed Xavier Rhodes to the practice squad, and he's probably going to get bumped up to the main roster. So that should be helpful in terms of, defense. Okay. The question is can this pass rush finally start getting to the quarterback again, because they have dropped. Tampa Bay does not have a good offensive line. Their offensive line is in shambles still. True. And that's another reason why Brady has been struggling this season, because he just doesn't have time. Now, yeah, Brady can get rid of the ball quickly, but Trayvon Diggs has been, for the most part, a lockdown corner. He, for the most part, he has kept a lot of the big name wide receivers in check. Of course, he still occasionally has the blunder and is a little too aggressive. But for the most part, he shuts down his side of the field. And I expect him to be able to shut down Mike Evans. The question is, can we contain Chris Godwin, and can we stop the running game? We're getting the guy that we traded for from the Raiders. We're getting him back. I can't remember his name, but he's a big body, he's a big boy whose main thing is stopping the run. Okay. Where do you see the advantage here for Tampa Bay? Tampa Bay has not.
He just doesn't want to.
They barely beat the Carolina Panthers for the division. Okay, they struggled against the Falcons earlier in the season. They've just struggled all season. Everybody was again being like, "Oh, Brady's the go for making a comeback against the losing record New Orleans Saints, the Andy Dalton led Saints." Everybody's so impressed by it. Yeah. I was not. This is not the same Brady that we saw last year or throughout his career. This Brady is old. He is now granted, yes, it is the playoffs. I do expect Tom Brady to come out with everything in this game. I expect the best version of Tom Brady here, but I still think the Dallas Cowboys are a better team. I still think they're more talented. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, T.Y. Hilton has come out of nowhere. Obviously we had the running game with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard, who, got some rest and is gonna, hopefully be good to go for this game. And hopefully Dak Prescott gets it cleaned up and doesn't make stupid decisions here, which I've been saying for the past week. I hope he does, but he hasn't done it yet. Hopefully this is the week he does it. I think Dallas wins this game 28-24. That's what I'm feeling here. And it's going to be there'll be a 2-minute drive that gets us the win here. Yeah.
I actually think Dallas runs away with this game. Yeah, I think it's like 28-13 or something like that. I think they win by 2 scores. So, and I think it's one of those situations where Dallas is ahead pretty much the entire game, and Tampa gets a garbage time.
I'll put it this way: if the Cowboys win, I got the pick wrong, but I just feel in my gut. I have a gut feeling that
you're just Tampa a Cowboys hater. It's fine, Kirby. We get it.
I mean, the thing is, the thing is, if this was any other year and it was Brady, you can't bet against Brady. We know that, but this is not the same Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This isn't the same. This isn't the same Bucks. Like in general, they're just not the same. And this isn't the same Brady.
They haven't found a rhythm. They still,
but
I don't think they found a rhythm on offense.
Kirby wants to go out on a limb here. He wants to risk getting 48 pancakes. It's fine.
It's coming his way. I can see the steam.
And look, if Dallas, and again, it's not like I'm delusional here. Of course, there is the quite easy possibility that Dallas blunders this game. Okay, because it's just been in the history of the Dallas Cowboys lately, one and done, breaking all the fan base's heart. So it's not like I'm like obviously like I'm hyping myself up for this game here, right? But there is that realistic expectation of like, okay, let's not get too high on this, because if Dallas loses, you're going to be devastated. Okay. And it's not out of the question, because sure, what Kirby said at the beginning is true. Dallas has never beaten Brady. We never have. And it's not out of the question that we don't beat him here, because who's to say that him and Mike Evans don't just start going off and going crazy? Him and Chris Godwin don't start going off and going crazy. Like playoff Lenny shows up.
Yeah, I think Dallas's defense is going to hunker down and have a good game. And
I mean, they have to, because the offense,
they do.
Yeah, they need to get takeaways here, and they need to get to Brady. They need to start hitting Brady, because that's the way you get him uncomfortable.
Yep, and that's what's done it all season for him. That's why he's been the way he is. You hit him, and he's not the same quarterback. Plus, he's a statue. He's not moving once he's
not a mobile. So we don't have to worry about him. We like having the running like Sam Howell. Like Sam Howell has some running ability. He's a little mobile, right? Brady's not going to do that to you, right? Like,
the pocket is not moving. Yeah,
the question is can we get to him in time, because Brady is very quick at getting rid of the ball.
I think you sack him 4 times in this game. I do.
We'll see. I mean, this defense has been struggling to get sacks. So
one thing I'd bet on in this game, Micah Parsons sacks him at least twice.
I don't know if I can make that bet, because Micah Parsons hasn't been Micah Parsons for the past month. He's been kind of dinged up. I think his body's just not, because again, Micah Parsons was normally a linebacker. Last year, he didn't have to play on the line so much, because we had, Randy Gregory and of course, DeMarcus Lawrence. Now we don't have Randy Gregory, so Micah Parsons has been more, on the line, and I just don't think his body has adjusted to that just yet. I think obviously because he's young, he's still growing into it. I just think that he's not used to the physicality of that type of play. So I just haven't seen it in him lately, and I've been a little worried about it, his play. So hopefully he does get some sacks here. Hopefully, I mean, he's still impacting games, but he's not impacting in terms of sacks. Like he just hasn't been doing it.
He's due then. I think that's what I hear. I think he's due for a big game.
We'll
and
see.
What better stage to do it than the playoffs,
The playoffs is right. The Super Wild Card weekend is upon us. You just heard our preview. The Seahawks, 49ers, the Jags and the Chargers, the Bills and the Dolphins, the Giants and the Vikings, the Ravens and the Bengals, and the Cowboys versus the Buccaneers. When we return, we will bring you our NFL awards. If you wanted to, I'm not saying, but there's a Grammy. But for the Kirby on Sports podcast, we have the Kirby's, if you want to associate that. But, my clever name for a trophy. But after this extended commercial break, we will bring you our regular season awards right here on the Kirby on Sports podcast.
Hey, sports fans. Thank you for listening to and supporting the Kirby on Sports podcast with founder and host Josh Kirby, along with lead contributor Dan Dembski. Like, subscribe, and give them a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast from. My name is Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation. Our company helps leaders build engaged and productive teams. Exclusively for listeners of the Kirby on Sports podcast, you can take an opportunity to discover your primary communication style and learn more about effective communication with others. Text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free copy of the Working From Home Communication Assessment, where you'll learn your primary communication style, how to better communicate with others not like you, and tips on working remotely based on your personal communication style. 10 minutes, tons of resources. Learn about yourself and your team. Again, text Kirby to 757-903-0743 for your free assessment report today. I'm Dr. Dave Miles, founder of Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, where we help you and your team be more engaged and productive by understanding each other better. Back to you, Josh.
Hey there, this is Mark Francis of Icon Real Estate. If you have any real estate needs in the Winchester surrounding area, including West Virginia, give me a call. I've got extensive experience, been in the business for almost 20 years, and would love to help you out. Track me down at Icon Real Estate, iconsells.com, or even give me a call, 540-247-1527. Again, Icon Sells, ICONSELLS.com, and I would love to chat with you and help you out. Give me a call.
Hey, it's Josh here for my friends over at Shenandoah Music, here to remind you that Shenandoah Music is your local music superstore. They carry guitars, drums, basses, keyboards, wind instruments, PA gear, recording equipment, and more. Not only do they have the best selection, but they will have the best prices, and better still, the knowledge to make sure you're getting the gear you need. And with the Shenandoah Music credit card, you buy now and pay it off over the next year. So when you think music, think Shenandoah Music in Winchester across from B-Dubs. All right, it is now time for...
All right, stop right there. Stop right there.
We have another.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one, welcome all to the first annual NFL Kirby's Award. And now, live from Studio K, your host, Josh Kirby.
Well, thank you very much, Carlos. It is a great honor to be with you all for the first annual NFL Kirby's. Just a blessing to be with you all today. One Kirby that will not be given out is to the Dallas Cowboys after their atrocious performance against the Commanders, but that's a topic for another day. But let's get into it.
Shot, aren't you?
I am here with my guest of honor, Dan Dembski. He likes to call himself the Weapon. He is definitely a weapon when it comes to a drum set, for sure. And my esteemed guest of honor, coming from generations of soccer love, soccer sports community, and NFL, a great analyst, Carlos the Swiss Army Knife. So let's get this show on the road. I will start with the coach of the year. We're going to do three things: coach, MVP, and comeback player of the year, per the Kirby on Sports podcast. So starting with you, Dan, coach of the year.
It's Brian Daboll of the New York Giants.
Oh, by the way, we are naming the nominees right now.
We are naming the nominees.
Yeah, you didn't explain the rules here. So the rules for this basically
I screwed it up on Russell Wilson.
All three of us will present a nominee. Yes, we can copy each other. Okay, so like Dan just said, Brian Daboll. I can say Brian Daboll or somebody else. Kirby can also say that, and then we deliberate a little bit, right? And then we have to come to a vote, and whoever gets the most votes is the winner.
All right.
Dan, you nominated Brian Daboll.
I do.
Alrighty. Carlos, who do you nominate?
I will be nominating Mike. No, I'm kidding. Brian Daboll as well.
I will be nominating Motor City Dan Campbell.
I take my nomination back now. I will be nominating what's his name? Jags coach Peterson.
Doug Peterson.
Peterson.
That's a good one. That's a good.
Yeah. Just so we can have a little deliberation here, because Kirby's pick is
like that.
just outsensical right now. Like, I get that, like, the Lions made a little bit of, but they didn't get in the playoffs. But yet, we're not going to put Doug Peterson in this list. Like, no. We have to put Doug Peterson in this list. Okay.
Worst to first. I mean, you can't deny it.
Exactly.
Doug Peterson.
My nomination.
Let's deliberate here. Okay, so why did you nominate? Like, what's your case for Motor City Dan Campbell to be?
Dan Campbell has given the Lions spark, given them opportunity, something to play for, something to look forward.
You can literally make this case about Brian Daboll and Doug Peterson as well. This isn't a winning argument thus far, but go on.
Well, I'm just saying he is going to establish good change in Detroit, and I feel like that's why he should be nominated.
He's going to?
Yeah.
So
the best is yet to come.
So the best is yet to come. Whereas with these two first-year head coaches, they've already made the good changes and made their impacts. Listen, Kirby, you're done. All right, Dan. Your case for Brian Daboll.
You know, it's pretty easy to see the effect that he has had on the Giants. And, you know, just a prime example of that is how he's made. Now, I don't know if this is directly him, but Daniel Jones looks like.
I don't know. I think you could directly put it to him.
Yeah. He has made Daniel Jones look like a competent NFL quarterback this year. And this was something that was like, we talked about this, I think, at the end of last year. Like, you know, I at least I kind of felt like this was going to be it for Daniel Jones, and at least with the Giants. And Brian Daboll came in there and embraced him, which I don't think that had happened for Daniel Jones in the National Football League. I mean, he's kind of been a laughingstock ever since he came into the league, you know, and not to mention tripping at like the 3-yard line on a long run.
Nobody around him.
Nobody around him. I mean, tripped on thin air, tripped on a ghost. So, I think that's my overarching point. The fact that he's made Daniel Jones look competent, and he just, I think he is similar to Dan Campbell. I know this is, you know, a general point, but the players, you can tell the players are passionate for, you know, his coaching style, and he's just a player's coach. He loves his guys. You can see that, and the Giants have lacked that for so long. I can't really. I don't know how far you'd have to go back to find that. Maybe Tom Coughlin even is the last time, but I don't know. I mean, he
wasn't really a player's coach, to be honest, but
maybe not. But he was the last maybe competent coach they had.
Sure.
But yeah, that's why I like Brian Daboll. I think he's just done a fantastic job there, and I think to quote what I said to Kirby earlier, the best is yet to come. I think with the Giants. Especially in the NFC East. I think they could be a powerhouse, especially as a wild card team, because Dallas is going to be tough to overtake in the next few years, I think.
Same thing with Philly.
So, yeah, Philly. Oh, of course, Philly too.
Yeah. I would like to know. Obviously, I'm nominating one Doug Peterson, who I forgot his name earlier. I apologize. I just am not great at keeping names. But you know, Dougie P over here. You know, Dan said it. You know, from worst to first. I mean, this is a franchise that made the, you know, nonsensical decision of bringing in Dan's mortal enemy, Urban Meyer, and it was a complete dumpster fire. And he's come in, and, you know, they started off a little rough, you know, had some growing pains, but he has really harnessed the power that is Trevor Lawrence, and has really made him look, you know, more and more like the quarterback we expected him to be. And sure that there's, you know, it's the same deal. The best is yet to come, but they won the division. And they also beat the Dallas Cowboys, and I just believe that he's finally have a grown up in the room, and I believe he should definitely be in consideration for Coach of the Year for the way he has turned this franchise around from being a dumpster fire to being the division winners.
Yeah, that's a great pick.
All right,
So
let's go to a vote. Okay, so let's go to a vote now.
So
Okay.
the vote will be in the private chat.
No, it will not. No,
it
will not. I will call upon you, and you will tell me who you vote for. Obviously, Dan, you will be voting for Brian Daboll. Kirby, who will you be voting for?
Brian Daboll.
And I will also be voting for Brian Daboll. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Kirby Coach of the Year is, after a lot of deliberation and vote counting, Brian Daboll of the New York Giants. Congratulations! Wow, what an incredible
Thank
year
you
for that man.
What an emotional tribute. Thank you so
Obviously, he is not here to accept the award. We will mail it to him.
much. It'll be FedExed right to him.
And yeah. And, congratulations, Brian Daboll. Congratulations.
Well deserved, sir.
Kirby, back to you.
Next category is most valuable player.
It's easy.
MVP. I would like to nominate I'm kidding. Patrick Mahomes for MVP.
I would like to second that nomination of a Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Thank you.
I would like to nominate one Carson. No. Patrick Flippin' Mahomes.
It's got to be Mahomes, man.
I'm surprised none of. I mean, should we? Okay,
and the winner is.
Hold on,
He's unanimous.
Hold on.
Unanimous.
Just for argument's sake. Okay. Can we throw Jalen Hurts' his hat in the ring for a little bit?
No.
Well,
no.
The problem is you look at the whole season. He's missed a chunk of time. It's just really hard for me to put him in there. If he plays the whole season, I think it's a lot closer for sure. But he's been banged up, and
I just wanted to do my due diligence. So
I appreciate that.
Well, by an outstanding unanimous vote, the AP has the unanimous AP NFL MVP. We have the first ever unanimous. It's not the first ever. Yeah, first ever unanimous NFL Kirby and MVP. I said that completely backwards.
The Kirby's.
Just rock with me, okay? And it's going to one Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs. Come on down, Patty Mahomes. Take a bow. Thank the little people. Thank the city of kids. Thank the Kansas City faithful crowd. Thank Arrowhead, and
And thank Andy Reid, your head coach. That's a great coach.
And Travis Kelce, your most amazing tight end. All right.
Last category.
This one's gonna be tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Comeback player of the year.
Tough.
All right, Kirby, you go first.
No, I will defer to you, Carlos.
No. Actually, Dan goes first. No, Dan went. No, Dan already went first. Then I went for MVP. So it's your turn.
So it's your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn to go first.
Okay.
Me or? Oh yeah, him.
Comeback player of the year. Jeez.
It's tough. It's really tough this year. Some good nominees.
Jeez.
So
to be honest, I actually don't have a nominee right now. I'm trying to think.
I have a nominee, but
all right, go for it. Hit it.
Brian Robinson.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
good pick.
I get. I mean,
he did not play this past week, but
I mean, I guess. I mean, listen, like last year we had Dak and Joe Burrow. This year it's kind of tough.
I mean, how can you not nominate a guy who got shot in a carjacking and comes?
Yeah,
and he played like 3 or 4 weeks later.
Can we throw Geno Smith in here?
Yes, Geno Smith is definitely a nomination you could put in there. Yeah, I would like to nominate one Christian McCaffrey.
Ooh,
comeback player of the year
because he was injured last year.
Yeah, he's battled injuries throughout his career. He's just never been what he could be in the NFL until this year, I think. So Yeah, and he's a baller.
So
The guy-
Brian
the guy-
Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, and
tough.
Geno Smith.
Mhm.
I'm trying to go through. I'm just trying to make sure that there's nobody who had a serious injury. I can't think of anybody.
No, this year there wasn't that standout, in my opinion.
All right, so Kirby obviously made the case. Of course, how could you not vote for a guy who got shot and made the comeback? I think the only issue with that is it's not like Brian Robinson completely lit up the NFL world.
Yeah, his stats are fine, but they're not like
they don't blow it out of the
eye-popping.
water. Christian McCaffrey's a good one considering that like the trade and everything, and how he's just completely flourished since that. But
he has helped them ride that wave.
I think the right answer is Geno Smith because nobody expected them to make the playoffs. Nobody expected them to do anything, and here they are.
Good. Yeah, that's true. No, Geno Smith's a good one. I was torn between that Geno and Christian McCaffrey. So, yeah, I don't think you can go wrong either way. And in reality, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Kirby.
Those two are very tough. I mean, everybody was saying how McCaffrey's career is over with that injury. When he goes to San Francisco, sort of gets a jolt. He's in the playoffs now with the 49ers. Geno Smith, who would have thought he'd be a starter and in the playoffs?
I was about, Kirby, come on, man. Like, we don't need a soliloquy here. We gotta
wrap it up.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah. We're a little pressed for time here.
They're
playing us off the stage.
I'm voting McCaffrey.
Okay, McCaffrey. Okay. Dan?
I was gonna go McCaffrey, but I think Geno Smith edges him out slightly. Just because of the expectation, right? I mean, there were no expectations for him this year. None. And everybody said, of course, in the offseason,
everybody thought it was a successful. Like everybody thought they were only going to win one game, because I don't, because they were just like, as long as we beat Russell Wilson, like it's a successful season. And then they just went on to go to the playoffs. So I'm the tie-breaking vote here. We got one for McCaffrey, one for Geno, and I'm going with Brian Robinson. I'm kidding. I will also be voting for Geno Smith because of the fact that the expectations on him were much lower than they were on Christian McCaffrey. So, with that being said, by a split decision vote, the voting was rigorous. Came down to the wire. But it looks like the winner for the Kirby's Comeback Player of the Year goes to Geno Smith from the Seattle Seahawks. Congratulations, Geno. You proved that you were the better quarterback and you helped Seattle win the trade. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the last Kirby of the night. We hope you all get home safe, healthy, and happy.
Drive home safely.
For our esteemed host, Josh Kirby, our esteemed guest, Dan Dembski, and I, your narrator, I guess you could say, Carlos the Swiss Army Knife Martinez. We wish you all good night, and we'll see you guys next year. Stay classy, San Diego.
And with that, wraps up another edition of the Kirby on Sports podcast. Our great sponsors, PM Plus Reserve, Shenandoah Primitives, Dr. Dave Leadership Corporation, Mark Francis with Icon Real Estate, Barrett Pest and Termite Services, Shenandoah Music, and Mark Lynch with Guild Mortgage. Gentlemen, it was a lot of fun. Looking forward to playoff football, and we'll be recapping, getting you set for the divisional round next week, right here on the Kirby on Sports podcast. You can find it on all streaming platforms, all social media platforms, www.kirbyonsports.com. Until the next time,
Good luck,
you hear
Dan.
us or see us, always remember to create greatness. And we say so long and peace out.